Dear friend, I really appreciate your support. Please keep watching and supporting my channel and recommending for your friends. Continuing with Interchange 3, then we have Unit 8, Infinitive clauses and phrases. We have two kinds. We have base form of the verb infinitive without to. Is used with would, rather, and base form of the verb infinitive with to is used with would prefer. The reason here because we have would rather, because rather is adverbial, and then prefer is regular verb. Let's look to the sentences how it works. Then we have would plus subject, rather, then base form of the verb. It means here infinitive without to. Then we have the object. Okay, how are we going to construct this kind of sentences? Okay, let's look here. We have, would you rather that you should drive the blue car instead of taking the bus? Let's look to our sentences. How are we going to make it like this sentences here? Okay, we have this. We have to end it this. This sentences has to be like this. Then we say, would you rather that? Because we know we could delete that as we learned it before. Then we delete this. Then if we delete that, we could delete subject. Whenever we delete the subject, we could delete the auxiliary verb, sorry. Then we delete the auxiliary verb also. We end it up like this. We say, would you rather drive the blue car instead of taking the bus? Which is gonna be like this. Would you rather drive the blue car instead of taking the bus? Okay, let's do it again. Let's have subject would rather, base form of the verb infinitive without to, then we have object. I would rather that I should drive the blue car or take the bus. We have adverb because here rather is adverb, because we know after would we have to have the basic form of the verb. Let's do it. How are we gonna work that? I would rather. I have that here. I could delete that, yeah? As we learned it before. That is gone. Then I could delete the subject. Then if I delete the subject, then I have to delete the auxiliary verb here also. Then end it up like this. I would rather drive the blue car or take the bus. Then here we have it, because this is, we have the subject, new subject. Would is the modal. We know after the modal, it has to be the basic of the verb or the root of the verb or the infinitive. Because here rather is adverbial. Then we say, I would rather drive the blue car or take the bus. Then we call them adverbial. Let's do it here. If we have not, then we say subject would rather, then not, then base form of the verb, infinitive without to. Then we have ended with either. Then we look here. I would rather that I should not drive either the blue car or taking the bus. Then as we said it before, let's do it step by step. As we did it before, one more. Okay, let's go here first. I would rather that, I could delete that here. That's my first step. The second step, then I could delete the subject as I deleted here. Then the third step, I could delete the auxiliary verb or the modal, whatever is there. Then I ended up like this. I would rather not drive either the blue car or taking the bus. Sometimes we leave this part out. Sometimes we leave this part out. Then we ended up, I would rather not drive either. It means both of the blue car or taking the bus. Okay, let's take one more. Then we have here, I would rather that I should take an English language classes than I should study music. Okay, let's do it here first. If you remember, we say I would rather, keep it like this, then we delete first that, then second we delete the subject. For both sentences we could delete it here, then we delete the auxiliary verb. Then I ended up like this: I would rather take an English language classes than study music. Is now clear? Okay, let's go to do one more. Then you could say I would rather that I should not join the basketball team. Then we make it short because we don't need to do every step. Then we could delete this as we did before. Then we ended up with I would rather not join the basketball team. Sometimes we say I would rather not. It means we delete all this also, leave it out. Okay, let's do one more. Then we have would plus subject plus prefer to, then base form of the verb, we call them infinitive. Then we have the object. How are we gonna do this? Okay, let's do the same steps. Would you prefer, that's the first part, that you should take group study or an individual study? We say would plus subject, prefer, then to, then base form of the verb or infinitive. Then we have object. We look to the sentences. Would you prefer that you should take group study or an individual study? Yeah, but like this. Then because here prefer is a verb. Okay, let's do how we did before. Okay, let's go first. Then we have would you prefer. Then if you remember, we said we could delete that, and then also we could delete the subject and the auxiliary verb. Then we ended up like this: would you prefer? Then because here I don't have it, if I keep it like this, then okay, let's just give me a second. Let me copy it. Because if I delete this part, then I'm gonna end it up with would as a model, then the subject, then a verb which is infinitive here, the basic, then I have another verb. Then I cannot have like this. Then I have to change this verb to put to make it infinitive with to. Then we say, would you prefer to take a group study or an individual study? Now it's working perfectly because here prefer is a verb and rather is adverbial. That's the reason here we have to put to. Let's go to do this one. Let's do it like this. Then we do step by step. Let's go first. I would prefer that I should take an online postgraduate course. Then if you remember, we said we could delete that, then delete the subject, then delete the auxiliary verb, as we would do it here. Then here I have a problem. If you remember, I would prefer, this is the verb or the root of the verb or the infinitive. I have another verb. Then I have to change either one of them because I could change this, just I add to in front of it. Then I could say, I would prefer to take an online postgraduate course. Now it's working perfectly. Let's go to the sentences here. Subject would prefer not to, base form of the verb infinitive, then we have object. Then same thing here. I would prefer that I should not take an online postgraduate course. Remember we said I could delete that and then the subject and then the auxiliary verb, then I ended up by this. Then you could say I would prefer not to take an online postgraduate course. Let's do one more. We have two different, for example, we say referring to the past, this is referring to the present, because this is not the reason we say. But say if we have to refer it to the past, Subject would rather was base form of the verb, infinitive without to, then object referring to the past. You have to always remember. After that is the root of the verb with no to. Would prefer, always we have to have to in front of the infinitive. That's the difference, because rather is adverb and then prefer is the verb or the root of the verb. Let's do this. I would prefer that I should, we're missing that I should have studied at the party than have gone home early. Because we know when we have an action happen in the past, then we have to make our model in the past. That's the reason if we look here, should itself doesn't say in the past, but when we add have to have after the model, then it makes the model in the past. Then we could say I would rather that I should have studied at the party than have gone home early. Because if you remember here, you could say I have gone home early. Then let's do it. We delete that, if you remember. Then we delete the subject. Then we delete the auxiliary verb. Same thing here. Because I have a subject is already deleted, then I have to delete this auxiliary verb. Then I only ended up with the root of the verb infinitive without to. That's referring to the past. And if we look to the other one, for example here, because this is gonna be referring to the present time, I would rather take an English language class than study music, because here we don't have, if we have it here have taken, then it will be indication in the past. Now let's continue what we are doing. Let's go to the subject. Subject would prefer to, base form of the verb infinitive with to, object referring to the past. You have to remember. After the modal, we have to have, then another past participle in order to make the whole sentences or the model happen in the past. Then we say, I would prefer that you should have been registered for an online course. Okay, let's look how we would do it. Delete first that, then delete you as the subject, then delete should as the auxiliary verb. Then we end it up like this, because here I have I would prefer, because if you remember we said prefer is the verb, then I have the modal, after the modal the root of the verb. Then if I don't put to here, I'm gonna be in trouble, because here will be have, because if you look here, let's delete this one out. Let's say, imagine we don't have it, because I'm gonna have would, then prefer, then have. That's the reason I have to put here infinitive in order to solve the problem. Thank you very much. Please, if you have any comment, you could write it down under my YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching. The next class will be Interchange Unit 8 by Jordan to describe how to do things.